I think if I had the attention of everybody on the planet, I would say that you are worthy, you are divine. And when you look inside yourself, you realize that, you know that there is a peace that resides within you. And if there's a time right now where it's not that evident, it's there. And there are people that can help you find that. There are places you can go within yourself to find that. So never think that you are lost or broken or disconnected, because nothing could be further from the truth.
Hello, and welcome to the Connectedness Podcast. Just as you might have guessed, I talk about connection and connectedness on this podcast, our connection with everything in the world around us. Whether you see it or not, we're all connected, and it doesn't matter if it's our dog, our cat, our God, our body, and I'll also talk about some more abstract connections like our career or our land, our community, our emotions, your body. Life is all about connection, so the sooner we recognize that, the sooner we can have an easier, more meaningful life. I will talk about these connections through different lenses, things like synchronicities and coincidences, or just everyday little bits of magic and miracles that we usually dismiss. It's really important that we pay attention to all of this so we can live an easier, more meaningful life. So welcome to the show. I'm your host, Karen Cleveland. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I am very excited to announce my guest today. Thom Walters is a meditation instructor and host of the Zen Commuter and Calmer in 5 podcasts. With over 40 years of meditation experience, he helps his students learn and continue a daily meditation practice. He assists practitioners understand their power and divinity by sitting each day, connecting to life and their own internal calm, which completely speaks to me. I so appreciate this. Welcome to the show, Thom.
Karen, thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited for our talk today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So I just want to start by letting everyone know that you have been, well, as I said, you've been meditating for over 40 years. And that's
Yeah.
a long time, especially since you look pretty young. So tell me about how this started. What led you to meditation at such a young age?
It is one of my favorite stories to tell, and it's odd for me to say too. When I tell people, I'm like, "Oh, I've been meditating for 40 years," I'm like, "How is that possible?" I'm like,
Right,
"I'm not
right.
even 40 yet." I'm like, "I
Yeah.
am way over 40." But meditation has helped keep me young because of abating stress and all that. But it all started when I was about 18. My mom used to teach meditation to people in the
Oh,
neighborhood.
okay.
Yeah. What a gift. What a gift. And I was chomping at the bit to get into that class. I remember asking her, I'm like, Mom, can I join your group? And she's like, well, we'll think about it, sweetheart.
Huh.
Maybe just wait a little bit. And I don't know why I should probably ask her next time I'm meditating and I talk to her why that was. But for whatever reason, was it what it was? But at one point she acquiesced. I mean, up until that point, I had my ear to the door. I'm like,
And
what
you
are they
couldn't hear
doing?
anything.
Yeah, exactly. I can hear a little bit. I'm like, I don't get what they're saying. I'm like, it sounds kind of cool though. And then one day, my mom, for whatever reason, acquiesced and had me join the group, and that was the start of a beautiful, beautiful life.
Well, how wonderful to have a mother in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. She was so progressive. I mean, thinking about meditation, talking about like manifesting, and this was 1982.
Yeah.
So yeah, I every day, whether I talk to her in my meditations or not, I'm always espousing gratitude for the lessons and the wisdom and just my meditation practice, because it literally has changed my life.
Yeah. So you grew up in a household of meditation, although you yourself might not have been. How did that go for you when you first started? Did it just, it's like, all right, I get it because it was all around you, or did you have problems?
Well, the teacher, so my mom was one of three teachers that helped people in the neighborhood learn meditation, and they were very well versed in meditation. So many of the challenges that I hear people have, I am thankful that I didn't have. Believe it or not, sitting still, even as an 18-year-old, was not that difficult. And connecting to silence and stillness wasn't that difficult. And so my mom was a meditator, and my dad's not a meditator, but he puts up with my mom and I. He's wonderfully progressive as well. But yeah, it didn't strike me as difficult at all, especially because of the experience of the teachers, my mom and the other two. So it came pretty easily. And for those of you that are saying, what? Meditation is not easy. I'm like, well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about that because that is something we hear a lot, isn't it?
Right.
So you studied with your mother. Did you go on to study with any, other teachers, ashrams or monasteries or anything?
I did not. I was self-taught. I just poured over every book, and like I said, I mean, this was 18, so I was still living at home for a couple of years. So I was still attending my mom's class. So I mean, that was a sangha right there,
Yeah, yeah.
with all those people every Tuesday. Was my favorite day of the week. I'm like, oh, it's almost Tuesday. It's almost Tuesday. Almost Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I've had the benefit because of Zen Commuter to just meet many wonderful people who helped me learn more. And my meditation practice is kind of self-propelling because I learn more and more through my meditation practice each
Right.
day.
Right. So Zen Commuter, I mean, it's great to have a vehicle to meet people like this, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
I've been at it a very short time and I am so in love with this process and being able to meet people and share other people's messages and to learn so much. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's so wonderful. So I read that you have a mission to teach 1 million people to meditate. Do you want to talk
Indeed.
about that?
Indeed. If we think about the challenges that we have as a people, as a planet, I mean, everybody's got hopefully their best foot forward trying to make changes, but I think the best way to make change on a global scale is one at a time, and helping people understand not only their calm, but their connection. I mean, it would be like, if everybody has a sense of connection, has a sense of peace, and that's one of the things I love most about teaching is helping people turn inwardly to see what the truth is, not what they've been taught to believe what the truth is, not what
Yeah.
their parents, whether people are well-meaning or not. It's like nobody will ever know you like you. And many people don't know themselves at all. And that's where meditation really shines. So when we have this understanding of who we are, and when we have this understanding of connection, then there's no way we can even think about those denser energies of hate and violence and all those denser energies. So my goal to help at least 1 million people meditate is to just elevate the planet, to bring peace to the planet. And it's already here. We just have to tap into it. And
Mm,
meditation, that's the best way we can do it.
right, right. So how do you do that? How are you reaching most people these days in the post-pandemic state? Is it mostly online?
Yeah, it is. It's Zoom for the most part. I think the pandemic is still with us, and it'll be with us probably for forever, but it we'll just have to find ways around it. And because, things have changed radically in 2 years, that I
Yeah.
will be getting back out there and going to corporations in the area, speaking in this country and overseas, and just continuing to help people get in touch with that peace that resides within them.
So do you call the type of meditation you do, does it have a name or is it just about that connection with self or
Yeah. Oh, great question. Great question. Because one of the things that many of my students say is like, what's the best type of meditation to practice? I said, whichever one you're going to stick with for the rest of your life. They're like, that's a cop out. I'm like, I know it was kind of cheeky, but
but it's true, isn't it?
but it totally is. And the other great thing is there are so many different types of meditation that you don't need to stick with one. And I don't stick with one. I mean, I literally change sometimes every day. Sometimes I'll have a guided meditation. And for people that are just getting into meditation, new to meditation, those are probably the kind of the best segues into a meditation practice because somebody else is helping you navigate the meditation. So if you're concentrating on their thought, their words, then your mind isn't jumping all over. But with that said, some days I'll just set my timer for like 20 minutes and I'm like, cool, it's going to be an open meditation. I'm just going to notice. what's here, the sounds, the thoughts, the absence of thoughts, just everything, and just take it all in. So it changes day to day. So when I teach, I would say that, yeah, there isn't one school. I mean, there are just so many varied and wonderful practices, whether it be Zazen or Tonglen or meta meditations, where each has their own value. So I'm kind of all over the board, but basically a focus of breath, body awareness, and visualization.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing what your daily routine is? I know it changes, but is it, 5 in the morning, or how does that work for you?
Oh, I love my mornings, man. Oh man, especially I love to share. Thank you. So basically, when I get up in the morning, I don't even leave bed. So I'm fully awake, but I ground myself in this moment and in this place. So I literally sit in my bed and I just kind of trace the pattern of the ceiling, and I
Mm,
look around the room, and I just pretty much get myself into this space. And it's not
okay.
a long process. It's about 3 minutes. I don't grab my phone. I don't jump out of bed. But after that, 5 minutes of getting myself grounded, then I throw on some sweats and take a walk out in nature. And I just walk through the woods to a university that's nearby. And I sit on the bleachers as the sun is coming up. And I meditate for 20 minutes, um, bathed in sunshine,
Nice.
sometimes rain. We'll talk about that a little later too. But then I walk back home and I study Italian, take a shower, get some breakfast, and then doing my Zen commuter stuff and all those things there. And then on the other end of the day, same thing. So I'll do 20 minutes of meditating at night. Now, admittedly, many times those meditations end up, and people always think this is a cop out. They start off as meditations, and then I end up.
Yeah. But at least you're getting to sleep easily, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's the deepest sleep ever. That's one of the great things too when I do
Yeah.
fall asleep meditating. So at night.
Yeah. Okay. I have two questions on what you said. One is, how do you deal with distractions? If you're outside meditating for 20 minutes, there's noises, there's rain, there's dogs. How do you deal with that?
Great question. Great question, because many people ask me that question. And I'll be honest, when I first started meditating, I was I would say angry, but when I was meditating, I had to have everything absolutely quiet. I'm
Mm.
like, and back in '82 and where we were living, it was actually pretty quiet. But even if a car went by, I'm like, oh, trying to meditate. I laugh at those times, laugh at getting upset while I was trying to meditate. But now, to your question, I either incorporate them into the meditation as a focus, or I just make my way back to my breath. So
Yeah.
anytime, whether it be a thought, whether it be a sound, we can acknowledge it. We definitely don't want to push it away. If we, even as I just expressed back in the day, I'm like trying to push quiet, quiet. Like,
Yeah.
no, now I just incorporate those into my meditation. And if it's an open awareness meditation where I am literally just taking in all the sounds and sights and smells around me, it's easier. But to your point, if it is not an open meditation, and I've got my breath and I hear something, like, cool, I acknowledge it, and then just bring my attention back to my breath. It's just like a sound will just be the same as a thought. So
Yeah.
if we ever have a thought that becomes intrusive, we don't push it away. We acknowledge it. Cool, I'm thinking. Let's go back to my focus, whether it be a mantra, whether it be your breath. And there are many times that I've had quasi-open meditations where I have been in a place where it's very noisy. In fact, just the other day, I was at the bleachers meditating. It was later than I usually get there. I get there usually around 7 in the morning, and this was like 9:30.
Oh.
And there was a guy that was doing he was literally mowing the baseball
Oh,
diamond,
yeah.
the outfield, and there were kids playing lacrosse on the other field. And I'm just like, believe it or not, I just brought my attention there and just did what I said, brought my attention back to my breath and just went
Right.
back. So
Right. Yeah, it's truly a practice, isn't it? That
it really is. And admittedly, there are days where it's going to be easier than others. I mean,
yeah.
sometimes I'll like if I do get to the bleachers late and there's a game going on, I'm like, okay, you know what? I know I'm good, but I don't know if I'm feeling that good today. I'll just go home and do it there.
Right, right. What general area of the world are you in? I know you're in the US, You're on the
Yep.
East Coast?
Yeah, exactly. Nashua, New Hampshire, which is about 30 miles north of Boston. So
Nice.
it's we got I love it here because within an hour I can be city, woods, ocean, mountains. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah. Now, where are you?
I'm in Seattle, so I definitely have mountains and ocean and, smaller cities close by.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love it here. So tell me about the Italian. That sounds exciting. Why
Uh,
Italian? Are you going to Italy?
I've been to Italy 4 times now.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that part of the world, and I am part Italian. And even though my Mediterranean looks have left me or never arrived, like, wow, you do not look like an Italian man, but I've got a whole bunch of stuff in there. But yeah, so I've been teaching myself Italian. I've been to southern Italy mostly. Haven't gone northern yet. I think next time I go to Italy, I'll be
Okay.
venturing north to Tuscany and Bologna and those places. But right now it's been Positano, Sorrento, Capri, Rome. Oh, it's just so
Nice.
beautiful.
Nice.
So beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. Now I've been kind of in the central northern Tuscany and Rome, and I want to go back, but there's so many places calling my name. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It sounds like you are got a wanderlust as well.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. We never know where life is going to lead us. It's been crazy just being open and following the call. So,
And I love the way you put that because that's one of the greatest benefits of my meditation as well. It's just an openness. And one of the things, even at 59, I'm like, when I sit down and meditate, I never know what I'm going to experience. Sometimes
yeah.
it's going to be just a traditional meditation where I focus on my breath and my body, and I wake up or open up my eyes, and I'm like, oh, cool. There's this world. Other times, stuff happens in my meditations. I'm like, I can't even comprehend that. I
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah,
even comprehend that.
it's
Like, I know
true,
you're
huh?
giving me a spoiler somewhere, universe, but I'll pick it up later because right now my mind isn't figuring out what you're putting down.
Right. Right. It's like, say that again. Wait, what was that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and many times, what my guides in my meditation will say, "Yeah, we're just letting you know that something to put in the, kind of on the fridge to think about. You don't need to know it right now, but just to let you experience something right now."
Something's on the way.
Yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But so great to be in a space where you can accept it and go with it instead of this thing coming up and then being, angry or thrown off course or whatever it might be.
What's
So,
interesting because when I was younger, it wasn't it wasn't that it wasn't easy, but I was there was a lot of ego, as I guess there is when you're younger. But I was like my brain is pretty sharp. I'm like I can figure out anything. So
yeah,
whatever, if an issue came up or something came up in a meditation, I'd like try to think it to death. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And obviously later on in meditations, my guides help me understand. It's like, dude, your brain is sharp, but it's not everything. You've got a heart, you've got a
right.
soul, you've got a connection to all things. Like, just let it happen. Let it
Yeah,
happen through all three things, and
yeah,
give up the ego. And sometimes you're not going to know, and that's okay. And it's wonderful to come to a place and to talk about this because it wasn't anxiety per se, but like I said, I was a seeker way back in the day, a seeker with an ego, and now I'm still a seeker without ego, or as try to be as little ego less as possible.
right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, that's the lifelong process, I think. So, are there any myths you want to dispel about meditation that people come to you with all the time?
Fantastic question. Absolutely, because in many of my courses that I'm teaching online, I mean, there's a whole section where we just spend a day or a lesson talking about all the things that people think meditation is and what it isn't. I think the biggest one is that to meditate, you need to clear your mind.
Yeah,
That's probably the hugest one. And I tell people as non-judgmentally as possible, I'm like, if you're finding a teacher that tells you, okay, let's start by clearing our minds. I'm like, ooh, that's probably not somebody who has the fullest grasp on meditation,
right,
respectfully,
right.
because our minds are meant to think.
Yeah,
Um, our goal in meditation isn't to get rid of thoughts; it's to become aware of when we're thinking and create the ability to empower, disempower, and just acknowledge thought. It's not getting rid of them; it's just learning how to work with them, all 40,000 that we have in a day, or 60,000. I don't know what the number is these days, but they're a lot. So
Yeah.
that's a huge one.
Yeah.
And the other is, am I meditating right? How do I know if I'm meditating right? I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
do you get that one a lot?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what's the right way to do it? Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. I tell people, if you've set aside time to sit in silence and stillness and turn inwardly, you've succeeded. And
Exactly.
meditation really doesn't have to do with succeeding. Meditation is like one of the things that is so antithetical to what our culture believes.
Yeah.
Beginning, and you start off as a novice, you get to be a pro, and
Right.
it's just like, and it's going to be a steady climb until you're a guru or an ace or a pro. I'm like, no, not
How
at
about
all.
length of time? And people think it has to be, 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is.
I love that question, because that is absolutely, if I think about that, that is one of the heavy hitters. Because I think many times, because of social media, because of the access we have, people, well-meaning or not, say, "Oh, I just got done meditating for an hour." I'm like, "Oh, okay, don't tell people that, because they're going to think they have to do that."
Right. Right.
And yeah, to your point, there is no time. I do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and I know that mirrors transcendental meditation practice, but to be honest, I'm not that well versed in TM. But to your point, literally 4 minutes, two
Yeah.
minutes, whatever you have. And there are many people that's like, "Tom, I'm trying to get a consistent practice, but sometimes I wake up late and I got to rush out the door." I'm like, you will do what you will do. But
Right.
I would advise you, it may be in your best interest to just take 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be as simple as the time it takes to take 4 deep breaths, expanding our abdomen and triggering that parasympathetic nervous system and our relaxation response. And for me, even though there's no time of day that's specifically set aside for meditation, I love it in the morning and at night, but mostly in the morning. But if you get there, that's cool. But to that my point, whether it's 2 minutes in the morning, you just set a tone for the entire day. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean the day is going to be absolutely flawless, but like if bumps come up, you're a bit more able to handle them without totally flying off the handle and like yanking out whatever hair you have, if you have hair.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree. I actually teach people as well. If there's a time you're sitting down, eating breakfast, doing your makeup, going to the bathroom, just sit for 2 minutes more and be quiet,
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
start there. Yeah.
One of the other things too is, and many people think that meditation is very sit on a cushion, sit in a chair, lotus, and that's it. I'm like, no. For people that have challenges sitting still, there's walking meditations, there's Tai Chi,
Right.
there's
Right.
mindful meditations. I mean, there are times that I'll be in the supermarket, and whether it be my guides, whether it be just my higher self, I'll be in there and I'll grab my phone. I'm like, dude, you don't need your phone. You don't need your phone. Put it back. Put it back. I'm like, okay, okay. Just be here and just look and just be in this space. And when I get those reminders, whether they be on my own or with the help of one of my guides, I am incredibly thankful, because much like I talk about on my show and other shows, is that our culture is so focused on the future or the past, regrets or worries, that they're just missing all the beauty that is here, and it is abundant, absolutely abundant. And I'm no like no saint. There are days that I'm just like, okay, I got to do the podcast, I got to do some marketing, I got to make sure I get answer those emails, and like, but the times like in the morning when I take my walks, I'm just like, you know what, this is a pretty cool planet. It's a cool world.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here. And
Pretty
it's from
amazing.
being in that moment.
Wouldn't it be interesting if everyone took their TikTok time and spent it a little more mindfully and aware?
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
So
We're doing our part.
yeah, exactly. We're doing what we can. So what would you say to the very beginner, to the, I can't do it. I've tried. I don't know how. To the listeners that haven't even tried it, what would you suggest?
Right. I'd say, much to your point earlier, start small. Our practice is a very private practice. Yeah, there's group meditations you can do, but at the kind of the base level, your practice is your practice. So you don't have to try and mirror the guy or gal that's meditating for an hour. You don't
Right.
have to sit in the lotus position. Literally, if you can just start off by taking 4 deep breaths. I mean, that's the simplest segue,
Yeah.
because there are two things about that, because it starts you off understanding what it's like, but it's also physiological. Many times people think that meditation is like something that monks do in the Himalayas or Tibet, and it's like that's for them. That's not for me. The one thing that's important that I let everybody know is that absolutely positively everybody can meditate. So when they are able to take those deep breaths, they're starting to understand that stillness. And to your point, just small steps, like 2 minutes just of quiet. And just like we were talking about, instead of
Right.
grabbing your phone, 2 minutes. Are
Yeah.
thoughts going to come in? Yeah, they will. Of course they will. And I tell new meditators that all the time. When you sit down, your mind has never been still, respectfully. You've never sat still. You've done everything you can to run from your mind, whether it be
Right.
Netflix, scrolling, anything. So thoughts will come, but they're just thoughts. They're not every thought that enters your mind is real. In fact, many people might think I'm crazy, but like every thought is fictitious.
Mm.
We empower it. As a culture, we empower thoughts, but that doesn't make them real. They're all just, I don't want to say ramblings, but they're creations of our mind. So when you're
Yeah.
sitting down to meditate, you will have thoughts, but just bring your focus back to your breath. And it doesn't even have to be a breath. If you're having trouble sitting down, just walk in the woods and just take in the woods. It could be a traditional walking meditation, which we can probably get into some other time, maybe when you
Right. Yeah.
when you're on my show. But
Yeah.
yeah, just start slow. That's the biggest thing. Know that there's no way you can do it wrong. If you set time aside that you can't do it wrong, start off slow, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and just build, build, build. And if you miss a day, no worries. It's not the end of the world. Be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself, and just get back on the
Right.
horse.
Right. Actually, that reminds me, you talked about, the monks in the Himalayas. What about thinking the purpose is for enlightenment? Like, what if we don't have that, oh my God, experience in it? Is that, would you tell the listeners that's something they should expect or not expect?
No, that's an awesome question. I love that question and I'm definitely very reticent about when I talk about my meditation, talking about the transcendent moments that I have, the moments where I connect with source or when I feel connected to all life. Those
Yeah.
moments will happen, but they don't happen that frequently. I'll be
Right.
honest with you. Like
Right.
there are times where I'm like just like we talked about earlier, where it's just sitting, quieting your mind, turning inwardly, and then you're done. So one of the things I always talk about is having expectations or intentions. One of
Mm,
those words is not going to be serving for us. The other definitely will.
yeah.
If we expect something to happen, we're going to set ourselves up for failure. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get in touch with God, Buddha, whoever, I'm going
Right.
to feel all things. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. Shh. Well, they might happen, but don't expect them to
Yeah.
happen. You
Yeah.
can have the intention. I mean, many times I've got into meditation like, okay, guides, I don't know what's going on with this. Can you give me a hand? Sometimes I'm like, yeah, just think about this, think about that. And other times it's like, cricket, cricket, cricket. I'm like, okay, guys, I guess I'm on my own. No worries. I'll figure it out.
Exactly.
So not expect it, but they will happen. And one of the things I love about teaching meditation to in the corporate environment, whether I have some corporate people come to me. It's like, you know what? I want my staff to be able to pay more attention, to be more focused, to be more creative. Are those things that meditation can do? I'm like, absolutely they can. Absolutely they can. And one of the things I kind of grin because I'm like, it's so much more, and you're going to find out it's so much more
Right.
because many people, like I said, have not had a still mind. So once they figure, I'm like, wow, cool. I'm being more creative and productive, and I've got the attention. Like, and then they're like, it's still here. It's still. What is this? And then they either get those moments where they connect with source but they just experience something so much deeper. And those are the
Mhm.
moments, those are the transformation moments I just love when I'm teaching clients. I mean, no disrespect to people who are like, yeah, I want to be able to be more creative and focused. I'm like, those are great things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that's for the corporate world. I'm like, oh, the world is so much bigger than the corporate world.
Okay, I have to ask, when a corporation hires you, do some of the people then find out or realize this isn't the right place for me? I need to quit my job.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm pretty upfront with people when I'm telling people, the people that hire me to teach meditation. I'm like, a lot of people are just on autopilot. Some people, when they get in touch, and to be honest, I love those moments. They don't happen a lot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when they do, in fact, there's a course that I'm going to be rolling out in a couple of weeks that's geared toward that very thing, helping you navigate the corporate world with meditation, but also understand that you might find out in your meditation that, yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm
Right.
not supposed. I mean, to
Right.
be honest with you, that's exactly what happened to me. I was working. I've had my meditation practice forever. Um, but I was working for Fidelity Investments, and I went in one Sunday to just clean up some stuff that I didn't have time to finish up in the week. And literally out loud, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, okay, am I done here? Thinking to myself, did I do all the things I needed to do? And then my guides chimed in to say, you are done here.
You're done
And
here.
I
Wow.
heard it, and I heard it resound in my soul. I'm like, oh, you're telling me I'm done here. I'm like,
Oh,
you know what? I think you're right. So I spent another half hour typing up a letter of resignation and put it under my vice president's door. And the rest, they say, is history.
wow. Wow. How exciting. Yeah, that's
Oh,
awesome.
God. I walked out of there like walking on air. I'm like, wow, not only am I free
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah.
but I just feel I'm moving into what I'm supposed to be doing. And doing payroll wasn't really it.
It might be for some people, but it wasn't
Yeah,
for you.
exactly. And I say that I'm glad you break that up. I'm like, you know what? If that's your passion, then go for it.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. Live that life.
Yeah. There's something for making a decision that's aligned with your soul. I mean, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So,
so clear too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you hear words, right? Sometimes,
Yeah.
not always, but sometimes. Nice.
No, in the most perfect moments, whether getting back to what we were talking about, where those moments of meditation where there is enlightenment or what have you, sometimes I'll hear my guides talking about like why something is, and other times I'm like, I won't hear a word, but I will just feel um, a truth just resounding in every cell of my being, like a certainty that doesn't exist a lot in my waking days. Well, I shouldn't say that because when I wake up every morning, it's so clear of the work I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But to my point, there isn't just an auditory or a conscious awareness of what a quote answer is.
Right,
You
right,
feel it, and
right.
you feel it in your body, and sometimes you feel it outside of your body. So yeah.
I feel like I could talk to you for another couple hours about you say little things in every answer that I want to go off on, but I know it'll just, take this on forever. So what I do want to ask as one of the final questions is what do you want everyone to know? Like if you could tell everyone in the world, this is it.
I'm laughing because when I first started Zen Commuter, that was a standard question that I'd ask all my guests. And I don't ask it every now and then, and it's never been asked of me. So I'm kind of laughing
Ah,
and I'm thankful for the question. I think if I had the attention of everybody on the planet, I would say that you are worthy, you are divine, and when you look inside yourself, you realize that, you know that there is a peace that resides within you. And if there's a time right now where it's not that evident, it's there. And
mm,
there are people that can help you find that. There are places you can go within yourself to find that. So never think that you are lost or broken or disconnected because nothing could be further from the truth.
awesome. Gosh, I love that. I love that. All right. So why don't you tell my listeners where they can find you, what you have coming up, what kind of offerings or anything special?
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. So the best way to get in touch with me is just go out to zencommuter.com. That's my site. And if people want to sign up for the newsletter there, they also have the opportunity of getting one of my guided meditations. It's an 18-minute meditation. But you can also find me out on Insight Timer. I don't know if your guests or your listeners know about Insight Timer. I would imagine they would.
Well, go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, fantastic. So there are a variety of meditation apps, obviously, but Insight Timer, not just because I'm an instructor there, but it's a free app. So it's not like, cool, we're gonna make money off teaching you how to meditate. So it's an app and it's great. but I'm out there. So I think I've got probably about 15 meditations out there.
Right.
But
Under your name or under Zen Commuter?
you know what? Good question. Under my name. Yeah,
Okay.
Thom Walters.
Okay.
Thanks for making a clarification because I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's been there. It's been there for a long time. But with that said, I also host a group within Insight Timer, the Zen Commuter Group.
Oh,
And yeah, so definitely if people download the app and want to join the group, we're always looking for people. It's a great community. We meditate on Wednesdays, and actually now we changed it. So Thursdays and Sundays, we do a group meditation. It's not live visual, but it's through chat, and we're all linked to the same guided meditation that I curate. So
nice.
Insight Timer, zencommuter.com, and Instagram, Thom_Walters. Those are great ways to find me.
And it's Thom with an H.
Thom with an H. Great. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes.
It's not Thom. It's Thom.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. So much information and such a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, Karen, thank you. The pleasure is mine, and I'm looking forward to returning the favor and having you on Zen Commuter next month. So I'm looking forward to that. So whatever we didn't cover today, we'll cover then.
Okay, that sounds
19
good.
things more.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And I'll just say goodbye to the listeners for now. I hope to connect later. So bye-bye, everyone. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to head over to revkarenpodcast.com. That's REVKAREN podcast.com. There you're going to find the tools for finding more meaning and happiness in your own life. Plus, if you have a story that you want to share with me, either on or off the air, be sure to look for that form. Make sure you follow me so you get notified when new episodes drop. And also, I'd love to connect with you in my Facebook group, Connectedness with Rev Karen. So head over to revkarenpodcast.com. I hope to see you there.